Okay, now we proceed with drawing the PERT network diagram. So for this purpose, I'm going to use example 8.1 in your textbook. So please refer to that example. The activities, immediate predecessors, and time required for a project are shown in table 8.2. Okay, so this is example 8.1. So there are altogether 11 activities in the first column from A until K. And the second column says preceding activity, so it means the predecessor. Predecessor means the task before. And the last column shows the time in week. So this is the duration for each activity. You see the time given here is in week because it involves a project, so it takes a longer time. So let's start. Okay, the question down below says construct the PERT network. So that will be the first question. So to draw this, it is a bit confusing. So this is the most critical part because PERT network diagram determines all other answers. So make sure that your diagram is correct before you answer other questions. Okay, so now let's start with, we go activity by activity. So we start with activity A. Okay, so it says here activity A has no preceding activity. So it means that activity A is the first activity. So we cannot just draw A as the first activity. What we need to draw first is number 1. Always draw this as the first drawing. Number one here means in the first sequence. What are the activities to be done in the first sequence? So it shows here A is the first activity. So A must be done in the first sequence because it does not have any predecessor. So A will be drawn over here. Okay, it doesn't matter if you want to draw A like this, pun boleh, no problem. Okay, as long as it is a straight line. So A takes 6 weeks. So 6 will be written next to A. So when you draw, make sure that your arrow is hanging like this. Jangan tutup di ujung. If you put an ending note in the end, you will get stuck. So let it hang like this, hanging lines or hanging arrows. Now we proceed to the next activity. The next one is B. B, the predecessor is A. So right after A, you draw your B. So this is your A. Right after A, you draw your B. So your B is over here. Time for B is 7 weeks. The moment you draw the next activity over here, okay, kat mana pun, the next moment you draw the next activity, then only you put in the next number. Okay, just now we started with number 1, so the next number will be 2. Don't put in the number first. You draw the arrow first, then only you go back and put in the number. Then your number will be correct. Okay, B is done. We go to the next activity, C. C also comes from activity A. A is the predecessor for C. So C will also come from the same place over here. So because of that, I want to erase B a little bit. I want to erase B and move up the arrow a little bit. So this is your B just now. Time is 7. C also comes from C also comes from A. Okay, going to adjust this a bit. So C also comes from A, so this is your C. C takes 8 weeks. So you don't need to put in any number because the number has been inserted before for activity B. Okay, now the next activity is D. D, the predecessor is B. So search where is your B. Your B is over here. So you know that your D will come right after B. So then only you draw a circle or a note, ending note for B. Then you draw your D. Time for D is 12 weeks. You see, there is no number yet. Then only you put in the next number, that is 3, because we ended with 2 just now. So D is done. Now we go to the next activity, that is E. E, the predecessor is C. So where is your C? Your C is over here. You know that your E will be drawn right after C. So you draw an ending note for C, okay? Then you draw your E. And E takes 10 weeks. You see, there is no number yet. Then only you put in the next number, that is 4. 3, we ended with 4, with 3 just now. Now we continue with the next number, that is 4. So E is completed. Next activity is F. Okay, you see F. F has no predecessor. So it shows that F is also the first activity. So F must be done in the first sequence as well, because F has no predecessor. So F is in the same situation as A just now. So yang mana ada dash, activity yang ada dash, which is no predecessor, everything must be started in the first sequence. So F must be done over here as well. So treat F similar with 8. F, the duration is 8. Okay, jangan continue F di sini, ataupun you tiba-tiba buat di sini pula. Number 5, F kat sini. This is wrong, because activities that has no predecessors, they must be done in the first sequence. So F is done. You see, there is no ending note, hanging line, hanging arrow like this. Okay, semua hanging. Okay, until you need to draw the next activity, barulah you masukkan the ending note. Okay, after F is G. G, the predecessor is F. So where is your F? Over here is your F. So you know your G will be drawn right after F. So then only you draw an ending note for F. Then this is your G. So time for G is 4 weeks. See, there is no number yet. We ended with 4 just now, and over here will be number 5. Okay, now G is done. The next activity is H. H comes from F. So where is your F? F is over here. So it shows that H also must be drawn from F. So for this, I want to erase G a little bit. I want to move the direction of G a little bit. So saya condongkan sikit G ke atas. G, the duration is 4. And H also come from F. And this is your H. Time for H is 6. If you want to maintain G like this just now, no problem, you can just maintain. As long as it is a straight arrow, straight line. Tak kisah kat mana pun. Asalkan, bukan tak kisah kat mana. It must be from the correct predecessor, but it must be a straight arrow. So the direction, up or down, it doesn't matter. Okay, H is done. After H is G, H, I. I, the predecessor is G. So where is your G? G is over here. So G is over here. You know that your I will come from G. So you draw your I over here. Time for I is 8 weeks. No number yet. Then only you put in the next number. Over here will be number 6, because tadi we stopped at number 5. So over here is number 6. Okay, now after I is J. Okay, J has 2 predecessors, G and H. So where are your G and also H? So G and H are over here. Okay, G and H are over here. and we need to combine these two in order to draw J. Okay, J, the predecessors are G and H. Okay, so we need to combine these two. So we need to combine these two. So remember, these two refers to which situation that I have explained just now, A or B. So it refers to situation A, where two predecessors or two activities come from the same place like this. So we cannot bend the line and have the same ending. Tak boleh macam ni. So how are we going to combine? The rule says we need to use a dummy line. Okay, so we need to use a dummy line. So dummy line, we must draw a dummy line to connect G and H. So dummy line will come from here going to here. So dummy line also has an arrow. So this will be a combination of G and H. G and H combined by using a dummy. This is dummy 1 because this is the first dummy, dummy 1. Time is 0. Or time is 0 next to it. So this is your J. Time for J is 10. So we already have number 6 over here, the starting of dummy. And over here will be the next number 7. Okay. Some of you might ask, can we draw a dummy line going up like this? Boleh ke tak kita lukis dummy line menghala ke atas? Yes. It is up to you to draw dummy line going downward or going upward. Tak kisah. But you have to look at the activities first. You have to look at the activities first. You have to check first. Is it possible or is it allowed to draw going upward like this? Okay, so let's check. We want to draw a dummy line going up. We don't want dummy going down. Boleh ataupun tak boleh? Okay, if you decide to draw dummy line going upward to combine G and H, you nak combine G and H over here. Boleh. But your J will come up from here. Okay, kat sini J nya. So if your J come up from here, your J is correct. Because J comes from a combination of G and H. Because you combine G and H up here because it depends on your arrow. Okay, arrow you menghala ke sini, maksudnya combination point happens over here. Your arrow going down meaning that combination happens down here, not over here. Okay, tengok kepada arrow. Arrow tu lah menentukan combination point. So if we want to draw the dummy line going up, meaning that we want to combine G and H up here. Okay, kat sini lah combination G dan H, di point di sini, di node ni. So your J will be correct because your J comes from G and H. What happened to your I? Okay, you have drawn I earlier. I, soalan kata I, the predecessor is only G. I ni hanya datang daripada G, but you have combined G and H over here, so this node belongs to G and H. So now your I is wrong. So in this question, for this question, your dummy line must only going downward. Upward is not allowed because this node has been used by I. I dah pakai node ni, so combination point tak dibenarkan di sini. Combination point for G and H hanya dibenarkan di sini sahaja. So going up is not allowed. But it depends on the question. If this point or this node has not been used by any activity as the predecessor, then it is allowed to draw your dummy line going upward. So your dummy line must only go downward for this example. Okay, then because of that, your I is correct and your J is correct because the combination of G and H, it happens over here. So this node belongs to G and H. And this node belongs to G alone. So I is from G, I is correct. J from G and H, so J is also correct. So now J is done. The last activity is K. K, the predecessor is J, so your J is over here. Okay, so your J is over here. You draw an ending node to j, and this will be your k, and time for k is 12 weeks. Okay, so the moment you draw the next activity over here, then only you put in the next number. This is number 8. Okay, so now everything has been drawn, but you cannot have hanging arrows like this. You see, there are 4 hanging arrows like this, so we cannot have this kind of diagram. What we have to do is to put one ending node, one only, one ending node for all the hanging lines or all the hanging arrows. So what we have to do is we have to bring all these 4 lines or 4 arrows together. D, E, I, and K, we have to combine all these together and have one ending node. Kita cantumkan ke semua yang hanging ni because we are done with the drawing. Tak ada lagi dah activity. So we have to combine all this. So now what we should do is we redraw D, padam lagi, I, okay, E maybe, and also K. So we draw E, no, D, D time is 12, going up here, and we extend E a little bit, and our I going over here, I 8 weeks, and our K just now we bring to connect with all. So in the end we have one ending node, number 9. Okay, so this is a complete PERT network diagram.